This is Huge Boxing, and I have the pleasure to be joined by flyweight contender Maisey Courtney. Maisey, how are you today, mate?
I'm all good, Regan. How are you?
All good. But all the better for talking to you today, mate. Ahead of massive fight for yourself, December 13th, Origins. I mean, big fight at York Hall, mate.
I know. We're back. We're ready. We're going to rewrite the story come December the 13th. Fighting at York Hall, being a Repton girl, you know, it's like my front room. And I can't wait.
Definitely. I was saying to George and Jimmy today, I find it incredibly hard to believe that I have one more fight at York Hall than you three, both amateur and professional as well. I mean, a location that's steeped in history as well. One location that you're going to add a little bit of history to as well in the career of yourself.
Listen, I never thought I'd say that you, out of all people, would one-up me.
All right,
one-up
mate.
any of this. Do you know, not to be below the belt, but you definitely have done it there, do you know? Like, there's so many amateur shows at for the Repton at York Hall. And then we've never boxed in them, do you know? And like you said, it's like a part of history in British boxing to box at York Hall. So now we're doing it now on our own show with Charlie and Tony, Huge Boxing and all that. Yeah, it's perfect. You couldn't want it any better yourself.
Definitely, mate. So let's talk about that. Obviously, your coach and your manager are now doing promoting shows now. I mean, it puts yourself in a great position to keep active and stay active and get the best opportunities for yourself as well.
Yeah, it's perfect. You couldn't want it any better, you know. And I was saying this the other day. It puts more like, how could I explain? You appreciate it more because you see the whole story. Do you know? It's really easy to turn up to a show, you fight, you weigh in, you fight, and that's it. But this, we've seen it build. We see it like get created, you know, and it makes it more special. It makes it like on the night, you'd be like, yeah, I was part of this, you know, and the people that care for you and look after you, whether it management-wise or coaching-wise, have set it up. It's an achievement.
Definitely, mate, as well. And also, in your career so far, I mean, you're already one of the first females to box out at Repton, but you're the first female to box out at Matchroom Gym as well. I mean, both of those are achievements in themselves. I mean, do you ever kind of look at that and go, oh, I've done that. I've done that already so early on in my boxing career.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I'll blow your trumpet for you if you're not going to.
You can do whatever you fancy, but no, it's good. It's to be the first person to do anything, it's always an achievement. You know, especially in boxing where it's such a male-dominated sport. To be a woman that's changing the path and being a benchmark, it's scary because you don't know if you're doing any good or bad. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's something that I am really proud of, and yeah. It's good. It's good.
Definitely. Let's talk about the Repton. I mean, it's a club that kind of yourself and Jimmy, you still represent to this day. And even when we went to the Tony Burns tournament, not this year, but last year, you were still catching up with a few of the fighters you were still representing. I mean, what does the Repton mean to you?
It's always been the best. I can be really biased, but it's true. The best club in the country, you know, and they're old school, and being a female to box at the Repton, I feel like that's another achievement, you know, because they're so against it. And to do that, it's amazing. And they're so supportive. They're like a family. You can't get rid of it once it's in you. I even got it tattooed on me, you know, no guts, no glory. That's how much I love it. But they'll always support you and they're always there for you. It's a fighting family, you know, and they just, it's really easy to get disowned when you turn pro from your amateur club. But the Repton don't do that. They've looked after us.
They definitely do, and they keep supporting you to this day. I want to read out something that you put on your Instagram story yesterday. I mean, you put a photo up of you on the Repton wall. I mean, they have their wall of champions, and you put the famous Repton wall, one of the biggest honours in boxing. It's easy to forget how much you've achieved as time goes on. Don't forget the path taken in order to achieve greatness. I mean, how did it feel to be put on the famous Repton wall for the first time?
Oh, it was brilliant. It was amazing. I look a little bit chunky in it as well. That was when I was a bit fatter, when I was an amateur. They also spelt my name wrong, which is quite funny. But it's you see, it's not the fact of going on the wall. It's on who you're on the wall with. Do you know, that's what makes it so much of an achievement. You know, there's Tony Burns who's on the wall, Darren Barker's on the wall, Darren Barker's brother's on the wall. Who else is on the wall? Audrey Harrison, Daniel Dubois. I think AJ's even on the wall. Do you know, Jimmy's on the wall and all of this. It's like, it's not the doing of it. It's being up there with these legends. Do you know what I mean? And all these England representatives and people that have won the Olympics and stuff. That's what that's what means the most. Do you know that? Yeah, I've done it. I made it.
You definitely did, mate, as well. I want to go even further back now. I mean, I watched the video on your Instagram. I'd never seen it before, and you were kind of talking about kind of the first ever fight that you had, and you weren't talking about boxing then as if like it was a sport that you did and that you love. It was kind of, you basically just said you wanted to show that your family, that just that you could do it, not that you were good at it, not that you were happy to do it, but just that you could do something. I mean, how do you reflect on that first fight now? Because I think that video was a few years back now.
Yeah.
But how do you reflect on that first fight?
It was good. It was, so going back, I've always had not like adversities, but there's always barriers in boxing. Do you know, it's really hard to be believed in and supported by men who are so against females being in a male-dominated sport. Do you know what I mean? And being where I'm from, it's like, oh, whatever, I walk around like this or whatever's, do you know? And that's what I wanted to accomplish more than anything. And I've had people in my family tell, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be, I don't know, doing what women do, do you know? And like I've told you many times, I like fighting. If I can do controlled fighting and get paid for it, that's it. So that was where the journey started. I had to prove I was good enough to do it. And then now I'm here.
Definitely, you took we'll move into that then. Kind of, there was, when you were going through the amateur setup, you went to one club and they basically were refusing to card you in the amateur fights. Essentially, from what you were saying, just blatant sexism there. They weren't doing it because you were a woman. I mean, like, how did you kind of combat that? How did you kind of get through that difficult period where they basically just didn't want you to do it because of who you were essentially?
It's a difficult one because it's not because they didn't want to sign me because I was a woman. Looking back, it's really easy to be bitter and to be like, oh, it's because I'm a woman, because I'm this, because of that. Maybe it's because they just didn't know what to do. Do you know? Like, I was the first woman there again. And it's always hard to know what's right and what's wrong, you know? And to be, like I said, to be the first at anything is like a benchmark. No one really knows what they're doing. They didn't know what to do with me. They didn't know if they're putting me into fights where I was going to get beat, if I was going to get beaten up, if they were even going to find me a fight in the first place, because there was no one around, you know? But without defending them too much, yeah, they didn't card me. They didn't really want to like dive into it because it's scary, you know, especially being old-fashioned, whatever. And we're lucky times are changing. People are believing in it more. People are getting excited about female fighting. But a few years ago, when I was boxing, I wasn't even in the Olympics. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, all right. We only had to wait 7 years to get my first amateur fight. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
What was the turning point? I'll ask you two questions. What was the turning point for women's boxing, one? And then what was the turning point for your career when you first got carded? Was that the Repton? No,
so the turning point for women's boxing is going in the Olympics, for making it, I don't know, like no one really bothered to watch it unless you were looking for it. Do you know, like female boxing? Then when in the Olympics, got the Nicola Adams, the Katie Taylors, Carissa Shields.
That was 2012, wasn't it?
That was 2012, the first time. 2012, 12 years ago? Do you know what I mean? The first time it was ever in the Olympics. And people started to get a bit excited about it. They're still getting slated and still people going, no, blah, 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 still doing that, but worse back then. And I think that was also a turning point in my life because I never had someone to look up to. Do you know? I never really had a role model in boxing. I had like the geezers and all that or whatever's, but I never really had a woman like Katie Taylor's, Nicola Adams and all of that. But yeah, it inspires you. You know, and when I did leave my first amateur club and I went to Body Shots, and I was at Body Shots in Crayford, shout out to Body Shots in Crayford, don't talk about them too much, I feel a little bit bad about it, but they put belief in me, and I had a coach called Pete Stanhope. He's an unbelievable man, and he was the first like coach to be like, yeah, you're brilliant at this, let's do it and let's go for it. And then since then I've just kind of carried on. You know?
You definitely have, mate, as well. And then fast forward in a few years, I mean, then you meet Katie Taylor. I think it was on a Gymshark shoot, wasn't it? It was a shoot. And then, I mean, fast forward even further, then you're the co-main event to her fight. I mean, Have you spoken to like Katie about how much kind of she means to you, one, and then two, being the co-main event? I mean, we've spoken about this before, but that was such a massive thing for yourself, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit mental. Do you know, I remember this Gymshark thing, and I remember sitting there about it because I was on the England team at the time, and all the girls were getting messages from Gymshark, yeah, and I was like, I ain't got one yet. And I was a little bit sour about it. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, they're meeting up with Katie Taylor. I was like, oh, I really, really, really love Katie Taylor. Really love Katie Taylor, whatever. And then I think like 2 days before, I got an email or a DM. It was a DM from Gymshark, and I was like, oh, it's my calling. I'm ready to go. And we went, and I met Katie Taylor. Shannon Ryan was there. Chloe Watson was there. Just saying. Loads of people were there, but it wasn't just people who were boxers, like amateurs or pros. It was boxers like who teach boxing and stuff like that. So it was really like inspirational to be in a group of all them women. Anyways, met Katie Taylor, got a little picture, and I think about 6 months later I was co-main event on my pro debut to her. And yeah, it's kind of crazy really. I've never really thought about it. Just kind of went with the flow.
Have you spoke to her since? Because she fought on our card again in Dublin, didn't you?
Yeah, nah, she didn't talk to me then, I don't think. It was alright, I just kind of brushed it off. I was like, yeah, me and Kate are cool, you know, like we don't even talk. Broke me up. Please talk to me, Katie.
I'm sure it'll be arranged soon. Tony, Charlie, arrange that soon for Maisey Rose as well. I mean, there was something that you said just then, kind of, you were saying that some people still talk bad about women's boxing now. I think, do you think that kind of, well, sometimes it's sexism, sometimes it's the sexualization of it, kind of, some people are kind of talking about it that way, bad as it is. Do you ever think that kind of stuff around women's boxing will ever leave the sport?
No, of course not. It'll never leave women full stop, let alone the sport. Do you know what I mean? We can really dive into it and really talk about it, but it is what it is. And you can either use it to your advantage or go totally against it. Do you know what I mean? So it's something that will never change, and it's something that you can either take with a pinch of salt and be like, listen, it is what it is, or you can grow a thick skin, just whatever. Start crying about it. What's the point of crying about it? Do you know what I mean? You're in a tough sport as it is. It's fine. It's not fair, and it's not right. I'm not saying it's right, but
yeah. So what camp are you in then? Are you in the camp to kind of using it to get out that thick skin? How does Maisey Rose deal with kind of those things that aren't fair in the sport?
I don't know. It's a tough one. I'm quite there's this thing that I heard someone say to me a very long time ago, and it's stuck with me for the rest of my life. It's, you only believe and get hurt. No, you only get hurt or take offence from things that you believe in. If you don't believe in something, yeah, you won't take offence to it. Imagine if I sat here to you now and I went, your hair, your pink hair, yeah, it's rubbish. Don't like your pink hair. You'd laugh at me. You'd be like, oh, whatever she's talking about, because you don't have pink hair. But if I say something to you that you're a little bit insecure about, you'll take offence to it. Do you know what I mean? So things like this, like when people say all this sexist remarks and all this, blah, 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 load of rubbish, I don't care because I don't believe in it. Do you know what I mean? And if someone does say something that's a little bit like, oh, if I ain't addressed it and it hurts me, then I'll address it and then make sure it doesn't hurt me in the future. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. You're in life. People are gonna come for you. The people want to chat rubbish about you. You either take it, chin them, as I try to do, Regan, or change the pattern, change the story. It is what it is. It's life, isn't it?
Definitely, and your story's still being written, mate, as well. And I want to talk about something that you do a lot more of. Just the one kind of community work that you do is working with. Well, you work with Fight Forward amongst others, but I want to talk about them. We've spoken about them before, but I want to talk about them on a different platform as well. I mean, talk to me about the great work that Leslie does with the team at Fight Forward as well, mate.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. So, a little backstory of Fight Forward. Fight Forward is a charity, and Leslie Slack. Oh my God, I'm really going to butcher her last name. I know her really well as well. It's really embarrassing. But anyways, Leslie and Lisa Moore, they work with a group of women who have been victims of domestic abuse. And I feel like it's a very smart way of battling a fear of something is by going straight to it and running at it. So they set up a 12-week camp for the group of females, who are training to do a fight at the end of the camp, 3 2-minute rounds. And I help them out where I can. I ain't taking no credit for it. Do you know what I mean? They've got one soon. They've got one tomorrow. Tomorrow they've got one. Brilliant. Tune in tomorrow for Fight Forwards. They are doing a fight for domestic abuse, like I just said. Anyways, and it's an amazing thing. The females that you meet there are so strong. You know, like, I think I'm strong and I do this as a job, but to conquer a fear whilst doing it at the same time, it's amazing. You know, they've all been through it, and take my hat off to them. I couldn't do it, for sure.
No, definitely, and keep up the community work that you do, mate. And then we'll put the link to Fight Forward in the description as well. I mean, yeah, we'll move away from boxing quickly. Maisey Rose Courtney could have gone into the realms of professional football as well, mate.
Oh yeah, I could have done something like that for sure. But the thing is with me, Regan, I've told you enough times, I just like to have a fight, and I just kept getting in trouble. You know, I played football for many, many years, and I started on a boys' team at Sammy Montague. Actually, funny enough, where I first started boxing. And all the boys were going up to the gym to get fit for football. And that's how I kind of progressed into boxing. But, yeah, I played for Long Lane, played for London. Got beat up much more in football than I did boxing, funny enough. But, yeah, I could have done really well at it.
Where did you play?
Left wing.
Left wing?
Yeah, brilliant.
Quick, yeah?
Yeah. I was like Maisey. No, honestly, they've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it to this day. So it's a shame. It's such a shame that I'm not a professional footballer. I'll tell you that.
I play centre back, mate. So
centre back. I could tell you play centre back.
Just head the ball.
The builds.
Is that a compliment?
No.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Right.
Always rely on Maisey Rose Courtney to give you compliments, you know, guys. Just anytime you talk to her, graces you with compliments. It's great.
It's fun.
I mean, Maisey, that was my final question, mate. I mean, another great interview. Where can people actually get tickets to your fight as well?
You can message me on Instagram. You can, just give me a little text on Instagram. Come and join us Friday the 13th at York Hall. We're all on the card. We're all ready to go. Huge Boxing's debut. Regan, are you going to be there?
Of course I'm going to be there, mate.
Who's going to be there? And if you ain't there, we need to sort it out and get a ticket off us. Brilliant.
There is no other better place to end. Maisey Rose Courtney, thank you very much, mate.
Look at that. I could have sold it to this, couldn't I, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's freezing.
It's so...
I was shivering.
Did you see my